everyone, welcome to my soon to be finished closet area. Hopefully by the next video the paint job will be done. Anyways, I just wanted to check in and share another video with you. I have a few of these coming, so this one I'm going to start off with are some tips for those of you suffering with some headaches and some neck and shoulder tension, either on a regular basis and or just as you're stuck at home right now. So there may be some background noise. My kids on the other floor, I apologize for that. In any case, okay, so you may or may not have some of these props that I'm going to use in this video, and that's fine. I'll give you some alternative suggestions for things that you can use at your house as well. So we'll start off with a few basic postures and movements. Okay, so one of my favorite things, and many of you who work with me know about this already, but I'm going to give you some tips with some at-home props that you can use. I have a foam roller also and some yoga blocks, but essentially so many of us spend a good part of our day hunched forward, sitting down on a computer screen and or looking at our phones or what have you. So this flex posture is something that many of us contend with on a regular basis that creates undue tension in the neck and shoulders, all the way up to the skull, etc. So posturally not great for our bodies. And I'm going to teach you what you can do at home to help passively, so with the help of gravity, work towards opening up the front of your body more while putting extension into your spine at the same time. And there are different levels of intensity. So the lowest level of intensity would be using a towel. And so what you're going to do is just get a big towel and you'll fold it in half. All right, and then roll it up. So you have basically a long tube like this. Okay, make it as smooth as you can. All right, and lay that down on the floor. And then you'll lie on that, okay? And you'll use that tube, round towel, along your spine. I'll show you with my hair up. With the top of the towel being just below the big bump in your neck, so right around C7, T1. And let your head and your shoulders fall off the towel, so mine easily touches the ground, which will be the case for many of you as well. Arms out to the side, okay, knees bent. This is position number one. And you can work towards relaxing and deep breathing in this posture. You can play with different arm movements and positions, so up over the head, I quite like. You can also hold on to opposing wrists and offer yourself the ability to do some lateral stretching with some breath work. Both sides, of course. I won't do a full, I'll just give you the example of the postures. You'd stay in them longer. Your legs straight is another option, like so. Okay, so for many people, that's gonna be a great starting place, and for others, that will be a little bit too easy. So we'll move on. Okay, so if the towel's too easy, instead, what you're going to do, if you don't have other props, you can just double up the towel, okay? So if we're dealing with just what you've got at home and you haven't had a chance to stock up on anything else, you just make it thicker, okay? And do the same thing with the roll. You'll have a shorter towel, more like the thickness of a bolster, a yoga bolster, which is just fine, and it just won't cover the entire length of your spine, but that's fine. And if your knees are bent, that shouldn't be an issue, okay? So you do the same thing with a higher roll. Moving on from there, you can use a yoga block. So I have a couple different yoga blocks. This is a cork yoga block, which I quite like. I also prefer to do these types of things on hardwood. You can see I'm not doing that right now. But if you have that option, I always feel that or a yoga mat on hardwood, you're going to have more resistance from the floor, which is helpful for some of the other things we'll go over today as well. So positioning of the yoga block. If you have it flat, that's an option. Okay, I don't find it super intense. Some of you might. So again, you're going to position that up on your back in this direction here. And you can play with and see how that feels in that position. Can you hold that posture comfortably and take deep breaths? What have you with the arm positionings. And then next level up is on its side. Okay, so you have to just wiggle about, play with this a little bit. And again, using that landmark in your neck as a good place to recognize where the yoga block should stop. And there we go. In this case, you can see, hopefully you can see this in my video. Maybe I'll move down a little bit. There, okay. Like that. Okay, does that make sense? Everyone can see I'm still touching the ground here. So for myself, I could actually go even higher, but I'm just, for many of you, this will be just fine. And then holding this posture and breathing feels quite nice. You can play with different arm angles. Again, in this posture, you'll find your arms are elevated for the most part off the ground. Feel a nice deep stretch in the front of the shoulders. You can lengthen your legs as well. I like to roll a little bit, so when I'm in this posture, carefully and gently, I've done this many times, I'll lean to one side, roll my head, hang out there for a bit, and then do the same thing on the other side. And enjoy this posture. So again, I won't stay down here for too long, but you'll see what that looks like. So incorporating this type of passive stretching and putting flexion into the thoracic spine is, well, actually extension, excuse me, is what you want to do right now. Okay, so coming out of this posture, when you find you're in quite an extension posture where your head's back this far, I want you to engage your core. So what you'll do is bend up your legs, firm up your core with your breath, tighten up your belly. Use your hands to lift up your head like a bowling ball, and together with your core, you can sit right up, which is an option, and or you can roll over to the side, which is easy for everybody, especially if you've been down there for a little while. Okay, so that is something I want everyone working on for working on posture. Okay. In addition to that, for people who have these yoga tune-up balls, fantastic. And if you don't, fret not. You can use, if you have tennis balls, they won't be quite as firm, but they'll still be effective in a tube sock or even a nylon or something. Anyway, something in your sock drawer that simulates this sort of look here. So we have two balls in a sack. I know what that just sounded like. Anyways, we're gonna carry on. And yeah, it did sound like that. Okay, so put your yoga tune-up balls or your tennis balls on your mat, all right? And this is an exercise I recommend to encourage the same thing we're working on with the extension postures, but again, more specifically rolling up your spine. I always start with these in and around where my bra strap might be, so sort of lower thoracic into lumbar region. And then I start by rolling them up my back, and then I go back to that spot and I go back down my spine. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, I'll start with them right around here, and ideally this is not the best shirt for this because it's looser and you want something a little more fitted, hair out of the way so it doesn't get caught in the balls, but in any case, we'll still get the idea. So I'll just pull my shirt down as I'm demonstrating this, and you're going to roll your body down towards the foot of the mat as you feel the two tune-up balls roll up your back. So you can hang out. You find a spot, you think, oh wow, that really needs some work, wherever that is in your body, and you can just stay there. You can play with different posture. Again, arms up over the head will be more intense. You'll feel that more, so make sure you can breathe. This isn't something that should be causing pinching pain or anything that takes your breath away. So using breath to work through these postures, you're going to work your way up. You can also cross your arms in front of your body, which sometimes can increase the intensity in a nice way. So again, rolling up your spine, and then exhaling as you work through it. You can add movement at a level if you'd like to. Again, you can rotate or roll from side to side a little bit, working all the way up through the different levels, right around to that same spot, the base of the neck, right around C7, before we get into the cervical spine. Okay, just like that. And taking your time with it then. Again, you'll feel much more effect of these, not on carpet, but on hardwood. So for me, this is really too soft. I don't feel it's as effective as I need or want it to be, but keep that in mind for those of you who really need to start gently. Do start on carpet if that's something your body requires, okay? So bringing it back to the middle of the back, and this time we're rolling up towards the head part of the top part of the yoga mat. Again, I'll hold my shirt down, but you're just gonna roll up segment by segment. You'll find as you make it into your lumbar spine, it won't be as intense because of the lordosis in your back, and so Instead, what you might want to do is bring your knees up. So for me, that's what I do. I bring my knees up to my chest, and I would linger at a level for a little while with breath, and then I would slowly work my way down, making sure they're not getting twisted or turned. You can use your hands to fix that. And working all the way comfortably through your lumbar spine. You work yourself down towards your sacrum. Okay, and stopping in and around L5, just above the sacrum, okay? Excellent. Just like that. That exercise, or this type of work is not warranted for somebody with spondylolysis, since a few of my patients, you know who you are, already do have that. So we wouldn't want to be putting extra pressure in and around L5. If you have any concerns or questions, if you're one of them, just reach out and I'll let you know. Okay. What else? Okay, so let's take them now from the sack out. Excuse me, and separate them. Okay, so now what we're going to do is work on our upper traps. All right, so this area between our neck and our shoulder that for many of us needs some extra love. So we'll put these on the ground. Make sure you can see this okay. And actually, first of all, just lie down. Position these between your shoulder and your neck on both sides, as high up as you can get them without them rolling out. So you'll know, because you'll probably, get one and lose it. Just put it back in, as high up as you can get it. Like that, excellent, okay. And for most of you, that won't be quite enough, okay? So you'll feel them there, but they won't really be doing a whole lot. If it's feeling like it's working and that's intense enough, then stop. You always stop where you feel comfortable. Then what you'll do, the next step is to elevate your pelvis, okay? So you're elevating, and that's putting more weight into your shoulders. And if you'd like, and you have available a yoga block, you can put that on whatever height makes sense. So whether that's the low height or the medium height. Some people can do the high height, but I don't recommend that for most of you because if it slips and falls out, that won't feel very good. So keeping that in mind, you don't have to have a yoga block, but it's just nice if you found a nice intensity level, and then you can relax your body and breathe into it, okay? So you can also just hold the pelvis up. So holding the pelvis up like this, and then the next level would be to bring your arms up. With breath, again, that's more intense. And breathing your way through it, and then just maybe inching with breath, you're bit by bit, your arms up over your head. And this would be the most intense positioning posture for this one. And breathing through it. So you'll take your time, take as much time with these as you need. You can slowly lower your pelvis. If you have a yoga block there, you can remove that. Lower down and take the balls out. And last but not least, I could go on for hours, but try to keep these relatively short. You'll now position the ball between your scapula and your spine. Okay, so your scapula meaning your shoulder blade and your spine. So you'll position it in there. You just do one ball at a time and bring that arm across your body. You can use your opposite hand to move it. Okay, and you're going to roll around until you find a juicy little trigger point, something in there that needs a little bit of work. And then you're going to linger there and hold it with breath. You can roll and rotate, and of course using your body weight, if you roll into the ball, to increase the pressure. And this is where you get to decide what feels right. Where can you hang out for a little while and work through an area of tension comfortably, okay? So you can roll around and work on that on your own. There's one there, and then you would do the same thing on the opposite side. Okay, one more tip using a yoga block. This one doesn't really work great with a foam block if you have a foam block at home. You can try it, but I will say I don't find the foam firm enough for this to be very effective. Maybe that's just my body. You can try it and see how that feels. The cork block, which I have, is obviously harder and more effective for what I'm about to show you, and specifically a wooden yoga block would be even one step further, which I quite like. So see what you've got, what we can work with here or play with, modify. So for people suffering with some tension headaches, some suboccipital pressure, missing your adjustments, managing all this stress, I'm sure there are a few of you. So what you're going to do is the following. Is position the block on an angle. Can you see this? Okay, I'm just going to come down a little bit. Okay. So you're using the edge of the block underneath the base of your occiput. Okay, so you feel your head, that bone there, boom, the right underneath that occipital spot, and you're going to put the yoga block on an angle. This is where you do want to have a yoga block, a yoga mat, something like it in place to hold this in place also so it doesn't slip out. I don't want you hurting yourself attempting this. So nice to keep your hands on it just for comfort, and use something that's going to grip against it. And you're going to find the block edge right underneath the ridge of your occiput. And then what you can do once you've found it is gently rock your head up and down from side to side. And you can find a spot. If you find a spot that really feels like, okay, that one needs work, it's nice to relax the arm on the side that you're working on. So I'm still holding the block with my left hand, just so it doesn't slip out. And I'll use my breath and use the block to work on that ridge, or really your suboccipital space. Okay, and you can take your time with that. In fact, you should take your time with all of this. Breathe and relax. Gently remove it and come on out. If you don't have a block, here's what you're going to do. Lying on your back, so you're relaxed and your neck muscles are not resisting you. Using your fingers, either your thumbs or your index and your middle finger, depending on your wrists and how you want to work this. Okay, again, you're going to find that space at the base of your occiput, just underneath it, okay? And we're going to find trigger points along this region, okay? And you can use 2 fingers. I'll show you what that looks like. So not using your neck muscles, using your fingers, finding where it is you're going to work, taking a breath, and with breath, in a moment I'll show you, I'm going to put some pressure up into that area, almost like a corkscrew action with my fingers. And when I do that, my head is going to rotate away without using my muscles to make my head turn. Okay, so watch, taking a big breath in. And as I breathe out, so my pressure is up and out towards my opposite eye, if you will. Okay, and you can hold that, you can relax, you can come on back to neutral, breathe in, breathe out. That sort of thing, okay? You can, of course, play with just some self-massage of your neck, which is always nice, but I will say, if you can work on understanding how to best help your suboccipital area while you're at home right now, that will be the most impactful for you. And of course, you do that to the opposite side as well. Okay. And again, whenever you're doing neck work, and especially if your neck's sensitive, it's always nice to just engage your core and engage your neck muscles slowly, you know, before you're going to sit up or roll over. Okay. All right. That'll be it for this video, and I'll do another one on some other things coming up soon. Okay, sending everybody at home some love and support, and I look forward to seeing you all again sooner than later. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.